Assalamu alaikum viewers. Welcome to Siyasat English News. I'm Eman Umar. The Telangana government initiated a penal case against Tulsi Cooperative Society for illegally disposing of 3,800 square yards of Osmania University land through manipulation and fraud. The Telangana High Court deemed a petition filed by Osmania University research scholar Ramana Rao as public interest litigation and sought to know the state government's stand regarding the sale of this land. During the hearing, Advocate General B.S. Prasad told the court that the university land has been sold by fraud and the police are investigating the case. According to the Advocate General, in 1976, Tulsi Cooperative Society had purchased a plot at measuring 4,800 square yards abutting the university land. But there was a dispute regarding the land between Osmania University and Tulsi Cooperative Society. The case, however, was won by the Tulsi Cooperative Society on the basis of a surveyor's report. Telangana IT Minister K.T. Rama Rao said that more than 24% of $32 billion worth of investments that Telangana has attracted in the last 7 years have come from the existing investors. KTR expressed these views while participating virtually as a chief guest in the Public Affairs Forum of India 8th National Forum. He further added that when institutions outlive individuals and perceptions, it brings in predictability, comfort, and policy continuity. Furthermore, to facilitate investments, KTR said that the state government has appointed young professionals who guide the investors with the policies and infrastructure in a very professional manner. These young professionals work under the banner Invest Telangana, which was set up immediately after the formation of the Telangana state 7 years ago. Taking a dig at Prime Minister Narendra Modi's remark on VIP culture in vaccination campaign, the All India Majlis-e-Ittehad al-Muslimin chief Asaduddin Owaisi on Friday alleged that the centre left the state and the people to their fate and changed their COVID-19 vaccine policy only after the intervention of the Supreme Court. In a series of tweets, Owaisi said that Prime Minister Modi placed the first vaccine order just 5 days before the campaign began. Only India has an exclusive corporate sector vaccine quota of 25%. Modi placed the first vaccine order just 5 days before the campaign began, Owaisi tweeted. He further said that this incompetence and absence of vision has cost lakhs of lives in the second wave. Earlier today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the central government ensured that VIP culture does not overshadow India's COVID-19 vaccination program. On 21st of October, India achieved the landmark target of administering 100 crore COVID-19 vaccine doses. The Telangana State Education Minister Sabita Indra Reddy has called a meeting of the officials of the Department of Education to review the preparation of the intermediate first-year exams. The minister expressed her displeasure over the attitude of the management of private junior colleges. The Education Minister also interacted with the district inter-education officials through teleconferencing. The meeting was attended by Education Department Secretary Sandeep Kumar Sultania and the Commissioner of the Board of Intermediate Education Syed Umar Jalil and other higher officials. Reddy instructed officials to ensure COVID-19 protocols during the exams. She also said that 1 or 2 isolation rooms must be kept ready at every exam center. The first-year intermediate exams are scheduled to be held from 25th of October to 2nd of November, where more than 4 lakh students are likely to participate. Several mosques and Muslims were attacked by Hindutva groups across Tripura in a wave of communal violence that started 2 days ago on 20th of October. The right-wing groups across the northeast state reportedly vandalized at least 6 mosques and over a dozen of houses and shops belonging to the Muslim community there. Violent right-wing mobs wearing saffron clothes, carrying swords, and raising anti-Muslim slogans were seen in photos and videos marching with weapons toward mosque. Maktoub media have reported that mobs allegedly belong to the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, Hindu Jagran Manch, the Bajrang Dal, and the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh have suggested that the violence was a result of communal violence in Bangladesh that took place over the past week. At least 6 mosques were attacked by Hindu mobs since 20th of October. Safiqur Rahman, an activist of the Students' Islamic Organization, have told the Maktub media that a mosque was burnt in Maharani region in Gomati district, Udaipur. Moreover, mosques in Krishnanagar, Dharmanagar, Panisagar, and Chandrapur in Tripura were also vandalized on Thursday. Comedian Munawar Farooqi, who was earlier arrested in Indore for allegedly cracking anti-Hindu jokes, has again come under attack by various groups of the Hindu right wing on social media for his upcoming show in Mumbai. Uncertainty now looms over Farooqi's show given the threats by these groups who demand the show to be cancelled. According to Book My Show, Farooqi's show titled Dongri to Nowhere is scheduled to take place on 29th to 31st of October in Mumbai. The right-wing groups have started an organized social media campaign under the hashtag #GoBackMunawar to target the comedian. They are alleging that these shows are anti-Hindu and threatening his impending event, claiming that it will hurt the religious sentiments of the Hindus. A Saudi citizen was able to obtain significant financial compensation after he was wrongfully imprisoned for 130 days in a drugs case. As per the media reports, Saudi Arabia's Supreme Court upheld a lower court verdict to compensate an amount of 98,000 riyal to the man after he was imprisoned for 130 days in a case and later proven innocent. According to the Arabic daily Okaz, 40-year-old Khalaf had been arrested on suspicion of dealing with hashish after he was caught with a friend on the charges of possessing and trading drugs. It is reported that the preliminary court found Khalaf innocent and acquitted him in the absence of any substantial evidence that linked him to the seized narcotics. The court's decision indicated that the compensation was reparation for the damage he sustained. Over 40 Western countries have criticized China at the United Nations over the ongoing atrocities against Muslim Uyghurs and other religious minorities in Xinjiang. The 43 countries have signed the statement expressing concern at credible-based reports of the existence of re-education camps in Xinjiang. It was read by France's UN Ambassador Nicolas de Riviere at a meeting of the General Assembly's Human Rights Committee. It was the third time in 3 years that the United States and mainly European nations used the Human Rights Committee meeting to criticize China over its policies on the Uyghurs. A new report published on Wednesday by the Australian Strategic Policy Institute details the role of several Chinese government bodies in carrying out a campaign of repression in Xinjiang province. Thank you, viewers.